All right, good morning, you guys. Here we go. Financial Algebra, period 1. Oh, let's get rocking and rolling here. Last day before the semester 1 final here in 2020. During the pandemic, we're all online. Holy cow. Let's see who's in here. Aha, Ethan. Good man, good man. Hey, good morning, Ethan.
How's it going, Mr. Haynes?
All right, turn on your video, man. Let me see you.
Man, all right, I'll let you see a little bit, but my hair is like really messy. Like I literally just woke up.
It's okay, man. See, you got a good smile. That makes my day.
I know. I'm just like, I stayed up so late doing homework. I'm really exhausted.
What class were you focusing on last night?
I was doing kinesiology, which isn't a bad class. It's actually really cool. My teacher's awesome, but the project was locked at 8 and I wasn't home at the time. And so I got home at 9, and then there was like a graphic organizer piece, but I needed to see like the project in order to do it. So it was a little more complicated, but I did that. I just for these past 3 weeks, I've been wanting to finish almost everything Monday. So like, for example, like you gave us a review today, like I printed that. That way I can just kind of think on that a little more clearly.
Yeah, it's not easy juggling anywhere from 4 to 6 classes, right?
Yeah.
Not every class has a final. However, you guys probably have at least 3 finals, right? Like, how many finals are you having this week?
Let's see. So one for this class. Probably like four of them.
Yeah, and that's typical.
Yeah.
And that's tough. You gotta each final takes, in my opinion, if you want an A on a final, it takes at least I would say 5 to 10 hours to do the review and to properly study to get ready for your final. And so if you multiply that by 4, or God help it, if you have 5 finals, something like that, you got to start studying way in advance. And that's why I was working with you guys last week, because it takes time to prep and with so many different classes. Good morning, everybody. I was just talking to Ethan here about, studying, getting ready for finals and everything. And of course, we have finals this week. We're going to be talking about your chapter 2 exam. So make sure you have that printed off so we can do test corrections. Print off the review for today. I put that in online. I sent it out on Remind, and I put it in the chat. Okay, I put it in 3 different places. So you get your test out, chapter 2 test out, get out a red pen for test corrections. We're going to start there. And we also are going to do a short review. Do as much as we can. I'm going to hit some problems that we were not able to get to last week. Okay, so I picked a few, and I also picked a few problems that were commonly missed on the chapter 2 exam, although the exam scores were very, very good. I had a lot of A's. I had a few perfect scores. That was really, really good to see. So if you guys would take out your chapter 2 exam, print the one in Canvas, the one that has all my handwritten notes on it, because I grade them by hand, as you guys know. So print that off, print off the review number 3 that I have in Canvas. I also put it in, I'll put it in the chat again, just to make sure that you guys, have access. So do a quick print. And then again, get your red pen out, a pencil. You're gonna need Desmos today. So get Desmos up and running on your tabs in your browser. Sometimes you're gonna absolutely have to use the Desmos, unless you know how to do linear regression on your T84. You can do it on the T84, but I didn't teach it that way. Although if you know how to do it from Algebra 2, that's fine. So whatever calculator tool that you want to use, be my guest. And today is our last chance to work together answer any last minute questions. I'm going to be talking about your exam, so we'll do a little Q&A that first. What you're seeing on the screen right now, you don't have to write it down. I sent it out in Remind, so you have exactly what you see on the screen on your phones. So if you just be responsible and look at the messages and Remind, I don't try to bother you with that. I try to help you out. I send good stuff. Whatever pertains to the class, whatever you guys need. So it's good to see everybody today. Let's greet each other properly. Good morning. Give me a smile out there on the cameras here, because I see Preston, Rebecca, Valentina, Justin, Ethan, Natalie. There we go. And it'd be nice to see some of you other guys too. I haven't seen some of you guys in a long time. And if we do go back in the classroom, it'd be kind of nice to know what you guys look like. So I could actually greet you by name and not say, hey, who is this? Who is this person? Right? So if you grace me with your presence and your videos, that'd be nice. Okay. Okay. And again, I don't care about messy hair mornings. Okay. I know this is first period and some of you guys may not have had a chance to totally do yourself up, but who cares? Right, Ethan? It doesn't matter, right? Because at least you're here. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Sometimes it does. I don't know. I mean, I'm able to function today, but sometimes it matters.
Don't worry about it, buddy. You're looking good, man.
Thank you.
Oh, okay, let's get started. So first of all, take a look at the screen. And it's also on your phones because they sent it out to you. Let's just talk about the finals. Finals obviously on Thursday. Final schedule's changed. Okay, it's not the typical schedule like today. So make sure you know that. It's up there on the screen. Ours starts at 7:30, but it's only an hour and a half long. If you look at all the finals, there's no 1.5 hour break. They changed that on us, which I don't agree with, but I don't make the decisions around here. So we get hour and a half only, and then a 10-minute break, and then an hour and a half, 10-minute break, and you go through 3 finals pretty fast, which is going to be tough. I know. So given that, we made some changes in financial algebra. When I say we, I'm talking about Mr. Alex and I, because we co-teach this course. So we make the decisions together. I highly suggest you guys make a formula sheet. So look at number 2 up here on the screen. If you haven't done that yet, God help you, okay? Because unless you have everything memorized, I would highly suggest that. Have all your reviews, okay? Now, speaking of the third one that was over the weekend, I put up a solution sheet, just a little, and I found out through an observant student that it was the wrong solution file, and I couldn't find the right solution. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that third one that was assigned over the weekend extra credit. So if you did it and submitted it, which some of you guys did, I'm going to count that as extra credit and not mandatory, just because I was not able to find the solution manual for you to check all your work. So I apologize on that, but there's nothing I can do about that right at the moment. So have all your reviews. Today's included. It hits all the major points. Letter D here, Desmos, graphing and scientific. We're going to use the graphing one today and the scientific today. You're going to need both because we're going to do some linear regression in a few minutes here, because we haven't done that since chapter 1. You're going to have your z-tables and empirical rule handy, have everything all organized, so you don't have to flip through your notes. You won't have time for that. Shannon, I apologize for that. I apologize to everybody, but I wasn't aware of that. I would not normally do that. Obviously, that was a mistake. You have all your z-tables. You're going to need that today because I'm going to hit a z-table question. Be early. I'm going to log in at 7:15, and I'm proud of you, Shannon. Okay, I'll be out early, so get here on time. You do not have time to waste. So instead of coming here 5 or 10 minutes late, like some of you guys do, be on time or early. And then you don't need to print off the test because it's multiple choice format. You will, however, need a graph paper notebook and write down all your work. Because if you guess, you won't pass the test. All right. You treat it like a free response, and you go through it. You do it the same way you've always done. So you're gonna need a graph paper notebook on the side of your desktop. The final exam in our course is 20% of the total grade. So look here where it says final exam. There's 20 questions, and we skimmed it down to 20 because there's only an hour and a half. We don't have 2 hours like normal. So Mr. Alex and I pick 20 questions out of everything we've studied. 12 questions come from chapter 2, 8 come from chapter 1. It's more heavily weighted on chapter 2 because it's a bigger chapter and we spent more time on it. And it's also the current one. And remember, it's multiple choice format, or you can call it selected response, same thing. So because of that, there's no partial credit and you got to be precise. So we limited down to 20 questions so you have time to go through it and double check your calculator work, okay? So before we transition to the, oops, sorry about that, guys. Didn't mean to do that. Before we transition to the test, because I want to talk about the test first, any questions on what you need to do and get ready for on Thursday, which is our big day? Give me some kind of response on the screen, guys. Either that or in the chat. Come on, give me some kind of response because your videos are not on. I want to see, make sure that you guys are all good. See, thank you, Talia, in the chat. Thank you, Tyler, Matthew. Where do we find the test with your comments on it? You mean, Kayla, are you talking about the final? Kayla?
It's the chapter 2 review one for the banking services.
The chapter, I didn't quite hear the chapter 2 review. Which one? Today's review, number 3?
Oh wait, hang on.
I'll put it in the chat again. Here, just look at the chat. Just click on that link and then you will have, that's the one that we're going to be working on today.
Okay.
So we did 2 last week. We're going to do 1 more today. Okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was confused on something and I just realized. Oops.
It's okay.
Okay.
All right. So let's transition. Let's take out your chapter 2 exam. Make sure you print the one that has my annotations on Canvas. In fact, you know what, Justin, do me a favor. I want to, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to let you share your screen for me. I just want to make sure that we all understand something here. So Justin, share your screen. I'm going to have you do something in Canvas for me. Justin, are you working on that?
Yeah, it's just saying it's blocked for some reason.
Okay, I just need anybody. It doesn't matter who does it for me. So Natalie, will you help me out? Will you try to share your screen? I just want to make sure that everybody knows how to do something. Natalie, are you able to do it?
It's saying it's blocked as well.
This is really weird. I have it set on multiple participants. Oh, there you go. Okay, so Logan, turn your mic on.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy. I don't know what's going on there, guys, but okay, so do me a favor, Logan, go to the modules, chapter 2 module, and go down towards the bottom of the module where the chapter 2 test is, at the bottom somewhere. Yeah, chapter 2.
This one?
Yeah, there you go. Open that up. Okay, so where is it? Where do you see the?
I think you go to submission details and
Yeah,
then
okay. There you go. There you go. Click on submission details. That's it. That's what I was. Yeah. And then click on view feedback.
yeah.
There you go. This is what I wanted everybody to do right here. So Logan, thank you very much, buddy. And then you guys can print off from here. You can download it, print it, do all sorts of stuff. So that's what I expected everybody to do each time. When you have a test or a quiz, you check your, you check your annotations from me, and then you print them off and you you can see what's going on. So everybody open that up, view my feedback, and let's go through it. Okay, so let me talk about the test real quick. And you guys get out your red pens and you can make little notes on your test. Because there's some, I mean, overall the scores were very good. I had a lot of A's, some perfect scores, but there were some issues, you know, for some people. And you have a chance to talk to me right now if you want. So first of all, each part of the test, there's 5 parts. Each part was 5 points. 5 times 5 is 25. And there, the Rubik score is out of 25. And then I converted to a percentage, which is listed up there on the screen. Everybody mostly did well on number 1, with the exception of this bottom part and part B. So everybody look at part B and look at what's called outstanding withdrawals. The only mistake typically that I saw during the test was this. In the outstanding withdrawals, it says, let's see here, your ending balance from your bank is $212.44. We modified that over there on the left during class. And then it's missing a deposit from 1215, which is at the very top. That's pretty explanatory right there. It's right up here at the very top. That's outstanding. Right there, no one missed that pretty much. And then it's also the withdrawal from 1213. And there were 2, technically there's 2 withdrawals on 1213, but I was referring to the ATM withdrawal of $64.51, which is also in the check register. Now, if the gas ATM withdrawal was outstanding, that means the overdraft was outstanding too. So if one doesn't register in the bank, the other one doesn't either. So instead of writing down only $64.51, you have to add in the 40, which is a total of $104.51 outstanding in terms of the withdrawals. And then if you combine all 3 of these numbers, if you take negative 212.44 and then add it to the deposit 257.44 and then subtract the 104.51, you get negative 59.51, which does not agree with your register balance at the end number, the negative 72.51. So it didn't reconcile this case. So there was a mistake somewhere. But the key thing is the only thing that was really missed was it right there in the middle, the outstanding withdrawals. You got to take into account the 64.51, but you also have to take into account the overdraft fee of 40. You guys, does that make sense? Give me some feedback. Oh, I lost my chat here. Hang on. Hang on here. So that was the only minor mistake made typically on that one. Most of you guys nailed it in the check register. Okay, and it was 5 points total. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to some other ones here. Let's just make sure, write down the correct values. And if you have any questions on your calculator, and there were some calculator issues, and I made note of that on Canvas, you need to speak up right now because I can just go to Desmos real quick and help you out with that. Number 2, A and B were nailed. The only thing that was kind of weird was this right here. Look at part B. I put 5 years instead of 7 years. It should have been 7. So whether you counted it as 5 years or 7 years, I give you credit for either one. I didn't take off because it was a typo. It should have said 7 years. But like I said, depending on how you calculate it, if you're correct either way, I gave you credit for that. Number 3, there was a little issue there. Some of you guys mixed up your formula here, your basic simple interest formula. You know, the 250, that's your simple interest, and you don't know what the principal is right here, and that is unknown. So you had to solve for P. And some of you guys had a calculator issue right there. So again, if you get your question mark wrong, but your setup is right, but your answer is wrong, that means that you have a calculator issue, and we need to talk right now because on Thursday when we go through the exam, if you don't know how to use Desmos or the TID4, you're going to have a difficult time. Even if you set it up right, if you can't use a TID4 or Desmos, you're toast. So you guys got to speak up right now. And if you want me to go to Desmos on any one of these, I'll be happy to do so.
Mr. Ainsworth,
Yes.
that's what happened to me. I set it up right, but my answer was wrong.
Now, just out of curiosity, did you do this? Did you write it as 250 divided by 0.023 times 2.5?
Yeah.
Okay. It's probably a parentheses issue. Now, are you using T84 or Desmos?
TI-84.
That's it. Okay, so let me open it up.
I did that too.
Yeah. So let me just open it up over here. I think what's going to happen is that you're going to need parentheses around your denominator like this. Do you guys see that right here?
Yeah.
Look on the screen here in blue. You're going to need parentheses around your denominator. Let me double check. So if I enter in 250 and I divide it by quantity now, quantity 0.023 times 2.5. Do you see what I'm saying there?
Yeah.
And then if you take 250 and then you divide it by, and then if no parentheses, watch what happens. It's dividing by the decimal, but then when you say times 2.5, it's multiplying by that instead of dividing. And some of you guys got 27,000 something. So put parentheses around the denominator when you on that product. Does that make sense, Chris?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, yeah, no worries.
It might be able to help if you use math. If you go to math and then go to all the way to the end, or to the PRB, I think, probability. Or no, it's not that. Oh crap, I forget which one it was. Or maybe it's so go back to math and then scroll down. Oh crap, I forget which one it is, because there's a way you can go and change it to where it actually shows something over something. But I forget what the function is.
Maybe it's just fraction. No, I don't know. All I know is that parentheses are important. So if by the end of class, if you figure it out, let me know and I'll show.
Will do.
Okay. All right. So it was Chris and someone else. I forgot who spoke up earlier on number 3.
I did.
Okay. So are we good?
Yeah. I
Okay.
usually put parentheses, but I guess I just wasn't thinking.
Okay. And what you guys can do is when you go to Desmos, you can back it up with Desmos. So you're going to be using this version, but you're also going to be using the scientific version that you see me use all the time. And when you go 250 here, divided by, it creates the fraction already. So what was the problem here? So times 2.5. So you can always back it up with Desmos. Because it looks exactly like what we're doing. So use both the TI-84 and Desmos. Okay, so let's go on here. Let me see, what else? We're talking about the chapter 2 exam, obviously, guys. And you should be printing off your test with my annotations on it, because I indicated exactly what happened here. I think these right here, the only mistake I saw on these in the entire class was number 4 in the exponent. Some people put 144 and they multiplied 12 times 12, but remember there's 4 quarters. So 4 times 12 is 48. Other than that, most of you guys nailed it here unless there was a calculator issue. So let's pause right here. Are there any calculator issues that we need to address? Because the class did extremely well overall. I just want to make sure. Okay, then let's go into this one here. Now these overall pretty good. The only thing I saw that was an issue was right here, the parentheses here. Some of you guys put parentheses around the 13,000 and then put parentheses like this, which would create a wrong answer. So be careful there. Look at the formula. Some people have got the wrong formula on this one. Pay really close attention. It's P is on the outside of the parentheses. So the 1300 has to be on the outside of the main brackets. If you don't do that and you put 1300 on the inside, which a couple people did, then your setup's wrong and the answer would be wrong. Other than that, there were a couple calculator issues. But you guys tell me, do you guys need me to enter this in Desmos or do any calculator work here? It's overall very good. I was happy with the overall results from the class. We have to fix our mistakes before Thursday. That's why I'm doing this. So you guys have got to speak up. Are we good or not? Okay. Okay, now let's talk about 9 and 10. Now you didn't have to do both. It was a choice. So take a look at 9 and 10 here on the process here. Because like I said, there's 12 questions on chapter 2 and 8 questions on chapter 1. And you definitely have to solve for the time in some cases, which require logs. So any questions on the process here? Or your calculator work, one of the two. Very, very important to understand where your mistakes were made in the process so that you don't repeat them. Thank you, Talia. Okay, let me show you number 11. There were a few mistakes made. Let me highlight it in green here. The +1. You have to add 1 and bring down the -1 and then add 1 before you do any log work. That was the only mistake really I saw on that one, if you got it wrong. My class is pretty quiet. Hopefully you guys are okay here. Okay, number 12. Oh, is that it? Is that the last one? Let's see. Yeah, that was the last one. Okay. Any other questions or comments on your exam other than or anything else before we move on? Because I want to get to a mixed review, highlighting some of the problems that we have not covered yet in the review process from last week, because I didn't cover everything yet.
I figured out the calculator thing.
Okay, so Mateo, go ahead. And what were you about to say?
I might have to share my screen because I don't think the calculator on yours has the function.
Is your calculator not the TI-84?
The +C version has it. So if anyone has the +C version, then it'll work.
Okay, well, okay, so I'll let you show up, and then we'll transition to the review here in a minute. Okay,
Yes.
let me stop sharing here. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so for this one, if you have the +C edition, you can go to math and then go all the way down to fraction and then click on the number one version. And then it shows up like this. So anything that you put in the calculator like this, you can actually see it the right way. You don't have to really worry about parentheses, with whatever ones you're dividing by. So you can just have like 2 times 5 and then press the down button over 5 times 6. And it'll
Right.
there.
Yeah, so it doesn't require specific parentheses like the typical calculator does.
Right.
Yeah, and this one's similar to Desmos because it looks exactly like the way you write it on your paper.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you, Mateo.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. So let's get right to the review. And let's go for it here. So here we go. So I picked a few problems that were missed throughout periods 1 and 3 because I have 2 classes of financial algebra. And hang on for a second. Let me get my chat back up. Every time I let someone share a screen, everything changes on my end, unfortunately. Okay. Now we're ready to rock and roll. Okay, so does anybody need this link in the chat? Because it's also in Canvas as well. Okay, so let's get started here, guys. This is review number 3. I collected a few problems here that were either commonly missed or we haven't covered. Okay, so again, there's simple interest questions and there's compounded interest questions. So when you see, well, let's read it. How much principal would you have to deposit? Okay, P, principal, we don't know what that is. Okay, would you have to deposit in a simple interest account? That means you're going to be using this equation here. Okay, so you have to know which equation you're using depending on the wording. Okay, so if you deposit, how much do you deposit to earn $500 simple interest? So right here, I is 500. So the interest is $500 that is, in 5 1/4 years at 3 1/4 or 3.5%. So R is equal to 0.035. T is 5 1/4 years, and we go for it. So this one I picked only because it was the most commonly missed problem in the previous section or in the test, chapter 2 test. So we start off with interest equals PRT, principal times rate times time. And if you have $500, the question is, what's the principal needed at 3.5% or 0.035 at 5 1/4 years? So you have to multiply it by 5 1/4. Okay, now work on that, you guys, and put your result in the chat. And then we'll work it together here too. Work ahead of me, obviously. And let me get my Desmos going here because I'm going to be using Desmos today. When you're ready, put your results in the chat. I'm wondering if my chat is working. Are you guys entering or responding in the chat here? Because I don't see any responses yet. Does anybody agree with Shannon and Rebecca here? Okay, so let's just double check everybody here. So when you divide by 0.035 times 5 1/4, okay, you all agree. So let's just double check things as we always do. So let's take 500 and divide it by quantity now. Okay, 0.035 as we were talking about. Make sure if you're using the TID4, you're putting parentheses around the product down there, or do what Mateo said. And let me see, times 5 1/4, so 5.25. Okay, so 27.21, so 27. So you'd have to put in $2,721 and roughly 9 cents. Okay, you got to round to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so first basic problem there. Here we go. Number 2, you guys speak up as we go if you have questions. Try to work ahead of me. Good students, and if you're really going to get ready for Thursday, work ahead of me. Okay, do all of the work on your own, compare it with me. Okay, number 2, we have Natalie here deposits $7,000 into account that yields 7.5% interest compounded quarterly. Quarterly. Okay, so if it's quarterly, there's 4 quarters in a year, and that means N is 4. The interest rate is 7.5%, so R is 0.075. The principal that she deposits only $7,000. Pretty good number there. And she wants a future balance to be 12,000. So the question is, how much time? How long? That's T. We don't know what T is. Okay, so t equals question mark. We don't know. Okay, so we need to set it up first. This is what you're going to have to do on your final. You're not going to have to print out the test. You're just going to have to set everything up, use some calculator, use Desmos or T84, and then select the correct response. And this one here is going to require some work. Okay, you want 12,000 in the future. You're depositing 7,000, and you're going to be using the compounded interest formula. So you got to multiply 1 plus 0.075 divided by 4, because there's 4 quarters per year, to the 4t power. Okay, so the variable is in the exponent here. So you guys, what does this call for? What do we need? How do we solve equations of this type? Okay, who's already done with the solving process? Let me know when you're ready. Type in ready when you're done solving the equation. Okay, Shannon, do me a favor. Do you mind being a leader here and just turning your mic on and telling me what to do, and I'll write as you speak?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Don't talk too fast, because I'm going to write down everything you say.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You're on 2, right? Yeah. Okay. So I divided 7,000 on both sides.
Keep going.
And then I got I just did 12 divided by 7, and then I rewrote the equation. And then I moved 4t to the front of that side.
Okay, you can't do that unless you do something first. That's a log property. So what do you have to do first? Before you shift exponents. Help her out, you guys. Come on, jump in. Someone turn on your mic and help her out. Work class now.
Log both sides.
Yeah. So once we take the log of both sides like this here, Shannon, we could do what you wanted to do.
Oh yeah, sorry. I just do them all at the same time because it makes more sense in my brain. But
okay, now what do we do?
And then move 4t to the front.
Okay. Okay, and then what?
And then divide both sides by 4 log times 1 plus 0.075 divided by 4.
Sounds good. Okay, so these cancel, and t is equal to something. Were you able to, did you get a value yet on your calculator?
Yeah, I got 7.25.
So 7.25 years. Does
Yeah.
anybody agree with that? She said 7.25 years. So, okay, a lot of people agree. So let me just verify, just to make sense. Very good, Shannon. Thank you. So log of 12/7. Just verifying here, as we always do. Divided by, and then 4 log of 1 plus the 0.075 divided by 4. There you go, 7.25. Okay, you were right on. Shannon, very good. And this is in years. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so you got, there's going to be a question like that on the exam. You know, everything from the reviews 1, 2, and 3 is going to be on the exam. So just make sure you're good at everything. Okay, number 3. Let's go back to chapter 1 for a minute, and let's do some Z-table work. So get your Z-tables that you have on your desktop, get them ready. Okay. Now the first thing you're going to do is, well, we should probably read the question here. So we want to, oh, I forgot to copy some important stuff in here. Oh, okay. So I forgot to give you some data. So we're gonna have to write something in here. So I forgot to copy something in. Okay, suppose the mean, okay. Okay, it's 42. So let's suppose we have a mean of 42 in this example right here. We have a normal distribution. We also need to know the standard deviation. So let's say that the standard deviation, let's make up a number here. Okay, sigma, and let's say the standard deviation is 4. So the mean, let's say these are test scores, let's say. So the mean is 42, so the average test score is 42. The standard deviation is 4. Okay, and then we want to calculate the probability that a student gets less than 37 on the test. Let's figure that out again. So let's go to the normal distribution bell curve here, and let's put 42 in the middle. The mean is always in the middle, as you guys know. It divides the bell curve in 2 identical or symmetrical halves. Positive z-scores to the right, negative z-scores to the left, indicating that you're less than the mean. And then let's just put a couple scores in. So we're going to add 4 to the right. So 46, 50, 54. Remember, with a standard deviation of 4, you're going to be adding 4 to the right, and you're going to be subtracting 4 to the left. So 42 minus 4 would be 38. Minus 4 is 34. Minus 4 is 30. Now 37 just happens to be between 34 and 38. So we can't use the empirical rule here. So 37 is about here. So I see that if the z-score for 37 has got to be between -1 and -2. It's got to be -1 point something. One of the questions on the exam is just finding a z-score and then interpreting the probability. So the very first step, step 1, is find the z-score. So you guys need to know how to find it. So what's the formula what's the general formula that's on your formula sheet to find the general z-score? What do we do? It should be on your formula sheet. We also did this last time too as well. So if you want to look at your previous review, it should be on there.
It's x minus mean divided by the standard deviation.
That's beautiful. Good job. Okay, so x minus the mean divided by the standard deviation. So in this case, x value is the score is 37. So here we go. So 37 minus the mean of 42. There's why that's going to make it negative right there, which it should be negative because I predict it's going to be between -1 and -2 divided by the standard deviation of 4. Calculate that, you guys, put it in the chat. Okay, what is that number? Very good. Okay, so -5 is -1.25. My friends, that's a question on the exam. Okay, now let's get the z-table going. So for -1.25, you're going to put on the z-table, we'll get to that in a minute here, -1.2 here, and then 0.05 here. And you're going to calculate the probability by looking at the z-table. Now go ahead and try that. And then tell me what you're coming up with in the z-table and give me 4 digits. And again, you have to have a z-table handy. Let me grab one here, but go ahead and start working on that. What do you guys think about Rebecca and Chris's response here? Okay, so let me verify that too. So -1.2. Okay, so it's here, 0.05 up here. You go down and across. And you guys said 0.1056. I agree with that. So let's go back to our lesson here. So 0.1056. What's that as a percentage? Very good. Okay, so this is equal to 10.56%. And on the Z table, any probability within the Z table, it's always represents the probability of less than or equal to that score, which is what we're trying to find. If it's greater than or equal to, well, then we have to subtract it from 100. But in this case, we're less than or equal to. So our final result here, the probability that a score is less than 37 would be 10.56 roughly percent. And that's going to be a question on the exam too. So finding the Z-score and then using the Z table, there's 2 questions right there out of the, out of the set. Okay. Any questions before we transition? You guys speak up. Okay, let's transition then. Okay, we haven't done this in a long time. Okay, regression lines. So everybody go to desmos.com and go to your graphing calculator, this one. Okay, so clear these out. When you open up Desmos, the graphing calculator here, it comes, always has something in there. So clear them out and let's get ready to go. We did this in the first month or so during at the end of chapter 1. So it's been a couple months since we've done this. So let's do it again. It's just because you've done it once before, it doesn't mean that you remember everything in detail. So let's practice. Okay. Okay, so let's read the problem here. This is I just took this from some of our previous work. So we got population, there's population continues to grow. I'm just reading at the top here. Solid waste is generated by human population, or the waste is generated by the population grows with it, of course. Governments must plan for disposal and recycling of the ever-growing amounts of solid waste. Okay, and then we have data from 1990 all the way to 94, and these are in tons of solid waste in thousands of tons, which is a lot. Each ton is 2,000 pounds, just so you know. Okay, and so what we want to do is graph this data. We want to make a scatter plot. We want to use Desmos to calculate a linear regression equation. That's a question on the exam right here, the linear regression equation. And then I'm going to ask you guys to make a prediction using that. So here we go. You're going to need one of these guys. You're going to need your keyboard. This is the fastest way you can enter in data in a table. So when you take your exam, you guys, you need a keyboard. You need a computer so you can type in numbers quickly, easily, because you only have an hour and a half. We don't have time to goof around. Okay, this problem is easy if you have the right resources. If it's not, or if you don't, it's going to be kind of hard. Okay, so go ahead and hit the plus sign. Select table. Now, before we enter in the data, it says here in part A, okay, let X represent the number of years since 1990. Okay, so that means, and let's get out our red pen here. I'm going to use X equals 0 for 1990. 1 year after 1990 represents 1990-91. So X equals 1, and then X equals 2. X equals 3 means 3 years past 1990, and so on. And then X equals 4, 5, and then 6, and so on. So 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So when X is equal to 10, that's 10 years past 1990, which is obviously year 2000. And so this makes the data entry a lot easier, excuse me. So instead of entering the 4-digit numbers for years, we can enter in a single digit or a double digit for the year, where X represents the number of years past 1990. So in our table, I'm going to enter in 0 through 4. Okay, so here we go. So on the keyboard, you just hit the number and then the enter button. So 0, enter, 1, enter, 2, enter, 3, enter, 4, enter, and then you're ready to go. Come back up here to Y1 on the second column, and let's enter in those numbers for the tons of solid waste. So here we go. Use your keyboard again. So 19,358 and so on. You go ahead and enter those in as I'm doing it here too. And let's see if we can come up with the same predictions. Now, when doing this, it's easy to make a mistake. So before you run any analysis, before you find the linear regression equation, you should probably double check your values. So let's do them all. Let's double check my values and your values. So 19,358, 19,044, 20,293, 21,499, 23,000. Okay, so I'm ready to go. Okay, type in ready when you're ready for the next step. Okay, here we go. The very first thing we want to do is calculate the linear regression equation. The line basically that predicts future values. Like we want to predict what the waste would be in 2000. So let's figure that out. So enter in a Y1. I'm using my keyboard right now. Type in Y1. The subscript automatically looks like Y sub 1. Hit the equal sign here. Oh, excuse me, not equal. Let's go back. That was I misspoke right there. You want the approximately equal to symbol. It's called the tilde. It's on the upper left-hand corner of your keyboard. And so you want that symbol right there. It's approximately equal to. It's right underneath the escape key in the upper left-hand corner, or right next to the number 1 button on the top row of numbers on your keyboard. Okay, this is an approximation equation, and that's why we're using it. So you type in mx1. So again, M stands for slope. It's the slope of your linear regression line, and you hit plus. B is your y-intercept. Okay. So at this point right here, your linear regression equation looked like y1 is approximately equal to, using the tilde on your keyboard in the upper left-hand corner. And then mx1 represents the slope times your x value, and then plus some y-intercept. Now, if you look here, R is 0.9445. Okay, so let me just grab something here so I can talk about it here. Okay, so this right here, the R value, let's circle this. This is your what's called the correlation coefficient. It tells you if it's a positive or negative or strong or weak correlation. So it's called the correlation coefficient. Because 0.94 is close to 1, okay, that tells you you have a strong correlation. Okay, if it was closer to, let's say 0, I would say it's a very weak correlation, but it's closer to 1, very close to 1. It tells me you have a strong correlation, which means that as the time goes on, you know, it's positive too, by the way. As time goes on, the amount of waste is going to increase at a steady rate. Okay, that's what the correlation coefficient tells you in this case. This portion here, this is your slope. And this number here is your y-intercept of your linear regression equation. So when you get the regression equation, you can write it out immediately. So y is equal to 1042.1 times x plus your y-intercept of 18,754.8. That's called your linear regression equation. This is the prediction tool that we use to predict the future values. Now, the only thing we need to do is learn or review how to use the regression equation to make that future value so you don't have to do it all by hand. Okay, so what we want to do is go to the next row in Desmos and let's complete our work. Okay, so let's type in on row 3, type in y equals mx plus b. This time use an equal sign. So y equals mx and then plus b. Okay, follow me. We're on row 3. This time type in exactly what I have up there. Y equals mx plus b. What we want to do is convert this to a table. So it's going to take our equation that we just calculated here above it in row 2 and make it a table of values so we can predict. Once you have y equals mx plus b in here, you're going to go hit the gear sign up top. It's called the gear symbol. It allows you to edit your list. Some people call it the cog, C-O-G. Gear, cog, same thing. And then you click on that right here, and you'll notice that a couple menu items appear. And I want you guys to convert to table. So pick the first icon, the table icon, and watch what happens. You get a table of values that you can change and edit so you can make your predictions. So let me read. Yeah, go ahead.
How did you get those things to pop up? And then
Okay, let me repeat it. Okay, so here we go. Number 3, I go down to row 3. I type in y equals mx plus b. So was that Chris speaking right there?
yeah,
Okay. Do you have that ready to go, buddy?
yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go up to the top here, the top of the column where you see the little gear icon of the cog right up here.
Yeah.
Click on that. And then you go down here. Do you see the table icon pop up on your y equals mx plus b?
Yeah.
Okay, click on the table, and then you should see what I'm seeing.
All right.
Are we
Yeah.
good?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Now change these values. Change this here. So just let's delete these. Okay, and let's go back up to the first row in that column. Now we want to make a prediction for 1995 all the way to 2000. Now 1995, let me highlight something here. 1995 is when x is equal to 5. So I type in 5 in Desmos. I go over here to Desmos again. I type in 5, and then I hit the enter button. So what that represents is that x, when x equals 5, that's 5 years past 1990, and we predict that there's 23,965 tons of waste in the thousands. So it's this times 1,000 tons. It's a big number. Okay, type in 6 for 6 years past, that's 1996. 7 represents 1997. 8 represents 1998. 9 represents 1999. And if you're 10 years past, that represents the year 2000. So I'm just going to clip this in. These are the predictions that we have over here for the table. Let me see if I can get that going here. There we go. So these values here coincide. So who's with me out there? You guys understanding what I'm doing on Desmos here and what the X values 5 through 10 represent? 5 for 1995, 6 for 1996, 7 for 1997, and so on. So we've done this before a couple months ago at the end of chapter 1, but it's been a while. And so it's just important that you guys review and practice what you've learned from the past. That's the only thing we're doing right now. We're just practicing things we've done in the past, trying to refresh our minds, get better at them, make sure we're all good, because, finals are comprehensive and they cover everything, you've studied. Not everything, but a lot. Okay. Okay, so the predictions that we just made, so these predictions here are from Desmos. Okay, any questions here before we transition to something else? Questions on Desmos, questions on the problem, either one. Thank you, Natalie and Talia in the chat. Okay. Everybody else good? We good? All right. Thank you, Justin. Okay. So let's see here. Let me look at the review, see where we're at. So that was number 4. Okay. Let's go here. Let me expand this. Let's do this, make this bigger here. So let's get away from Desmos and let's talk about number 5. Now, again, everything, all these crazy formulas should be on the formula sheet. And make sure you have the right one, and everybody focus right here. P is not on the inside of the parentheses, it's on the outside. And there was a couple mistakes made on the test right there. So pay attention to the formulas and how they're written, because I'm not going to give them to you on the exam. You have to use your resources. You have to have that formula sheet. You got to be organized. And those people that are really organized and that are well prepared, you have potential to get an A here. And if you get an A on a final, your grade's going to go up considerably. So let's make this happen. I would love to see you guys get a bunch of A's. That's the compliment to me, to have my class really successful. Okay, so on this one, number 5 here, Haven wants to do monthly deposits. Underline that. That means periodic. Okay. This is a major problem on the test right here. Some people use the other one, the other formula, this one. This one for this problem here, and that's not the case. This is a single deposit formula. And number 5 is not a single deposit problem. It's a periodic deposit problem because Haven here is doing monthly deposits. So you have to determine on the test, is it single or is it periodic? And if you get the 2 confused, you will get the problem wrong, because 3 out of the 4 choices are going to be the most commonly made mistakes. And one's going to be obviously correct. So you got to know which is which. So if she's making this $220 deposit, periodic deposit monthly, that's P now, not B, it's P in this problem. It's a periodic deposit. The interest rate's 4.5%, so R is equal to 0.045. It says, how long will it take? That's T. This is a time question to reach 10,000, and 10,000 happens to be your future balance. So you have to know exactly what you're dealing with. You have to know whether it's single or periodic. And if you get the 2 confused, you're not going to get the problem right. So you really have to slow down, annotate the problem, write down what you know and what you don't know, like I always do, and make sure you get, you set up the right problem. Because on the test, some people use the other formula and got it wrong, which is unfortunate. You got to know that this is periodic. So here we go. So we got 10,000 is equal to this long expression. So here we go. In this case, Haven's depositing $220 times the quantity 1 plus 0.045 divided by N, which is, N is 12. It's monthly. So divide that by 12, raise that to the 12 to the power minus 1, and then you got to divide that by 0.045 divided by 12 again. And the reason why I chose this one on today's review is because this one was commonly missed. Okay, and that's why I wanted to just do it one more time with you guys so that you guys can nail it on Thursday, because we want to nail it. Now, on this one here, I would suggest we multiply by 0.045 divided by 12 on both sides. I'm going to leave this one just because we're just reviewing. And that would cancel out these fractions, which would be kind of nice. You also want to deal with this 220. You want to divide by 220 on both sides to isolate your unknown. And then this part right here is Desmos. So we got to figure that out. Now I need Desmos again. You see how I transition real quick to another calculator? You guys have to be able to do that at any time during the test. You have to be able to transition from one calculator to the other calculator, which is, you got to watch me and just do what I do. So 0.045 divided by 12 And then you got to multiply that by this other fraction. So show me that you guys are working out there with me here. What's the decimal on the left-hand side? Give me the first 4 digits before I do it, before I finish it on the calculator here. What's the left-hand side decimal? Just the first 4 digits is fine. Just make sure, I just want to make sure you guys are working with me. Okay, let me validate that. So I'm going to multiply this by 10,000 divided by 220. Okay, so I agree with you. Now, notice it repeats 454545. So be careful here. Okay, so 0.17045 and put a bar above the 45 because it repeats. Okay, don't chop off too many digits because if you do, your answer is going to be off and you don't want that. So this is going to be equal to 1 plus 0.045 divided by 12 to the 12t power minus 1. Now we got to be careful here because I saw some mistakes made on the test. What's the step now? What's the proper step on to solve or to isolate the parentheses there, that big expression? What's our next step? Some people miss this step in the chapter 2 test. Say again.
Add 1.
Yeah, notice that Chris said add 1 and a few people said subtract 1. What do you guys think? This goes out to the class. Is it add 1 or is it subtract 1? I'm stopping here and really slowing down because if we miss this part out, miss this part, you're going to get the problem wrong. Because like I said, when we design tests, 3 out of the 4 choices are the most commonly made mistakes, and this is one of them right here. We're going to add 1. Opposite of -1 is +1, so we're going to add 1. So it's 1.17045. Repeating is equal to 1 plus 0.045 divided by 12 to the 12t power. At this point, you want to do some log work here. So we're going to have to take the logs of both sides. So let's do that. So the log of 1.17045 repeating is equal to the log of 1 plus 0.045 divided by 12 to the 12t power. And at this point, you want to shift your exponent. So start working ahead of me right now. So we have log of 1.17045 repeating is equal to 12t times the log and then do some division here. Divide by 12 log of this expression. Work ahead of me and use Desmos. And when you're ready, go to the chat and put your answer in the chat. Now, when you enter that decimal in the numerator, put at least eight digits. Repeat the 4-5, repeat the 4-5 when you're using Desmos. Okay, put your answer in the chat when you're ready. Let me know when you're ready. So you can round your answer to the nearest 10th. Okay, let me see. So most of you guys are saying 3.5 years. So let me double check that. Let me finish my calculation too. Okay, so everybody look at the screen. Where's my mistake? Find my mistake on my calculator. You can just turn on your mic and tell me where it is.
You put a 1 in front of the like 4 or 5 repeating thing. You put like 1.01.
Right, and it should be 1.170. So it's right in through here, so I can change this. So 1.170 and then 4 or 5 repeating. See, I did that on purpose just to illustrate a point. When you're going from your paper to Desmos or to the TID4, it's easy to put the wrong digits in. So before you select the response on the test during the final on Thursday, double check your entries. And now I have 3.5, and now I agree with you guys. Okay, so just make a little note to yourself, big, bold, and red. Double check calculator entries. It would be a real bummer for you guys to get the problem wrong, even though you got it set up correctly. All right, so slow down and double check your calculator entries. Okay, that's number 5. Number 6. I picked this problem for today because it also was it was missed. People set it up right and then got the answer wrong, which means it was a calculator issue. All right, so let's talk about number 6, last problem. Oh, and by the way, this right here, some people did not see the negative in the exponent. That was another issue. So everybody pay attention to your exponent. It's negative. Some people put positive and they got the wrong answer right just there. They got almost everything correct with the exception of the exponent. So pay attention to the formula because it's a complicated one. So in this case, this is a systematic or periodic withdrawal. Riley deposits 20,000 into the bank. Okay, and that's going to be your principal in this case. With a monthly compounds interest monthly, so N is 12 at 2.5%, so R is 0.025. These are the things that you guys need to do on the test on Thursday. You need to have paper off to the side, your notebook. You're going to write down what you know, like I'm doing right here. And as you're doing it, then you got your formula sheet off to the side, and you can draw from that. She withdraws $500. That's W. So W is the withdrawal amount of 500, and it says how long will it take? T. How long will it take to reach 0? So this one's going to involve logs again. So let's set it up here first. So we got 500 is equal, 20,000 is P now, right? Is equal to W, which is 500, times this fraction. 1 minus quantity 1 plus R divided by N, so 0.025 divided by 12 because it's monthly, raised to the negative NT power. So you guys tell me, what's the power? Let's stop right there. What's the power for this one right here? So negative 12t, you guys are saying. So negative 12t, okay, remember negative nt becomes negative 12t because n is 12, divided by R divided by N, so 0.025 divided by 12. Okay, this is a tough question. So once you get your setup here, now you got to figure out how to solve it. And I wouldn't suggest guessing on the test. So let's work it out. So I would suggest get rid of the fraction here first. So multiply both sides by this fraction. I would suggest that first. Okay, someone jump in here. What else can we do right now to help simplify? That's another thing we should do right now at this point to simplify. . Come on, guys, help me out. What should we do? Before we, no, not yet.
Could we divide 500?
Yes, okay, we got to deal with that 500. So let's deal with this 500 as well. And now let's write down the result. So here's Desmos right here. Let's go to Desmos and start working on this part. So everybody, let's just refresh my screen here. And then let's enter this in. So 0.025 divided by 12. And then let's multiply it by that fraction, 20,000 divided by 500. So now notice it repeats. So yeah, Talia, you agreed with Chris earlier. So yeah, we're dividing the 500. So now let's write that down. Be careful here because it repeats. So 0.083 repeating is equal to this. Now be careful here. Let's now this is going to take some log work, but what do we do here first to simplify? Be careful here. This is where the common mistake is made typically. What do we do?
1.
Why subtract, not add?
It's a positive 1.
That's right. So subtract 1 here and here. And then we got to take 0.083 repeating minus 1. So I'm going to go to Desmos. So 0.083, 33333. Put a lot of threes in there. All right, minus 1. And you'll notice that you get a repeating decimal, negative 0.916 repeating. So here we go. So negative 0.916 repeating is equal to negative of this stuff here. You guys stop me if you have questions, okay? Because I don't want to go too fast, and nor do I want to go too slow. You're responsible to stop me and ask questions on process, because it's all process here, guys. Now what? Both sides are negative.
Can we make both of them positive?
Then how? That's correct. How mathematically? How do we do that?
I don't know. I just remember seeing you put them to a positive.
Fair enough. Okay, so you can divide both sides by -1, or Shannon said multiply both sides by -1. So either one. So either you multiply or divide by -1, it'll cancel these out. That's multiplying by 1, or excuse me, by -1. Cancel them out. Now what? We're almost there. Yep. Okay. All right. So there we go. Let's take the log of 0.916 repeating. Log of the other side too is a log. We need logs here to solve for the exponent. Anytime the variable's in the exponent, it requires logs. And at this point, you want to shift your exponent to the front of the log, as we always do. So you take that exponent, shift to the front. And we get log of 0.916 repeating is equal to -12t. Make sure you have a negative symbol there. Very common mistake, people leave off the negative, which causes the answer to be off. So be careful. And at this point, you want to divide by everything except t. Make sure you include the negative. Okay, go to Desmos when you're ready. And go ahead and see what we get. How many years do we get? You can round your answer to the nearest 10th. Three and a half again? Isn't that weird? That's coincidental. Wow, that's weird. Okay, so let me verify that. So log of 0.91666666, but a lot of sixes in there. Okay, because it's infinite. Okay, divided by -12 log. Make sure you put the negative in there. 1 plus 0.025 divided by 12. Holy cow. Not exactly the same as the previous one, but pretty darn close. That's coincidental, by the way. So 3.48, 3.5 years, that is. All right. Very good, my friends. Okay, any questions from any part of the review today? Anything, any questions at all in respect to how to get ready for Thursday? Any technology or internet issues? Because I don't see, I mean, I see this is my best class attendance yet, 36. And I expect it's because, you know, it's the last day before finals. That's good. Make sure you're here. There are no makeups, guys. If you have an issue with being here on Thursday, you better tell me today. And it better be, it has to be verified by your parents because this is finals day. If there are any internet problems or issues on that day, or if you expect any or anything, you need to let me know today. It is possible if you have major technology issues that you could go to school and do it at school under supervision of some administrators over there, where some students are going. So if you need that, you could do that. But you got to speak up today. You gotta let me know so I can assist you and make sure that you're all good. Same test protocol, cameras on. We got an hour and a half. I'm going to log in at 7:15 early, and I'm going to give you maximum time. So I suggest get here early so we can start on time. So you have maximum time of an hour and a half. There's only 10 minutes between classes, so there's not a whole lot of time to transition from my class to another class. And some of you guys like me, I reboot my computer so I have a smooth experience between classes or in classes. So if you do that, then you got to take that into account too. You should always make sure your computer's updated because if it's not updated, you could have, you know, lagging issues. You don't want that. Okay. Okay. Let's go to the Canvas and let's make sure that I put that in there already. I think I did, but let's double check. Because you can scan your work from today and upload it right now. So let's go down and make sure that, yeah, here we go. Final review number 3. Like I said, the previous one over the weekend, I'm going to count that as extra credit because I wasn't able to upload the review key. But on last week's reviews, mixed review 1 and 2 on Tuesday and Thursday, and today you did it with me, so I don't have to put up a key. So right here, this is where you upload your work. Do that. That's your final submittal this semester, and then I'll see you on Thursday. Any questions or needs before I let you go? Very good. You guys did well today. Thank you very much. A good participation up there. And if you need anything, get a hold of me through Remind. And I'll look forward to seeing you on finals day on Thursday. So you guys take care and have a good one. You're welcome, Natalie, Talia. You guys have a good day. And thank you. You're welcome.
Mr. Haynes,
Yes.
So I just want to let you know. So I kind of misunderstood the directions yesterday because we didn't have this review until today. So I turned in like the wrong stuff because I thought we were doing like a check on formula sheet. So if you like see a bunch of like stuff that's not the review submitted there, that was my mistake.
It's okay. If you put multiple files up there, I check every single one. And as long as you uploaded one of, one that, I don't care what order it's in, as long as it's up there, you're all good.
Okay, cool. Just letting you know.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right,
Ethan.
have a good day.
You too, sir.
Mr. Ainsworth,
Yes.
you told me to check back with you after class for test corrections on chapter 2's test.
Okay, so I forgot what I put up on yours. So do you mind if I bring it up on the screen?
Yeah, it was on number 4, and I realized what my mistake was.
Oh, okay. Well, then I think we're probably good here. So, but let me bring it up anyways, just to make sure. Oh, I'm in the wrong thing. So hang on. Let's go back to the test here. All right. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Okay. Here it is. Okay. You said number 4?
Yeah, it was on number 4. Instead of, I forgot the 1 in the
Ah,
5.
okay. So as long as you know that, as long as you know that, then you're going to be okay on Friday or Thursday.
Okay.
So again, my advice to everybody, I've said it multiple times, is to double check your calculator work. Are you using the 84 or are you using Desmos?
I ended up switching to Desmos because it was easier just to like see my calculations, and I ended up always coming back with the right.
I made that decision too. I like because I have both, obviously, because you see both here. But Desmos, it looks exactly like what you write. I mean,
Yeah, so it's a lot easier to like.
Okay. Is there anything else you need to discuss on your test while we have it up?
Not on the test, but just on my like workbook pages, there were still just like certain percentages that I didn't know if were correct or not.
Okay, so which one do you want me to look at?
One of the ones was a chapter 2 review for checking accounts. It was a 15 out of 30.
Okay, then the chapter 2 review here.
Is there no oh.
This one says 10 out of 10, which maybe you're talking about another one?
It just said, well, on my end, it said, like in the grade part, it said a 15 out of 30.
Okay, then it's not this one. So let me see. But so it's not chapter 2 review number 2. It must be chapter. Oh, it must be this one.
Yeah, it's that one.
Yeah. We had multiple reviews. So let me go to this one. Oh, okay. So let's see here. Oh, it was marked late. So what happened at that time? It was set to 50% for anybody late, but then you turned it in. I just haven't gone back and taken a look at the late work. So
okay.
I don't mind changing this, because at that point you didn't submit it, but then you submitted it late. So Canvas automatically applies a certain percentage to the grade, and at that time it was 50% of the grade, and 50% of 30 is 15. But then you actually turned it in, and it looks complete. So I'll change it.
Another one was the 2 through 9 workbook, finding the term, and I got a 2 out of 10 on it. And in your comments, it said like I needed to show up to class, but I was confused because I usually always am in this class and participating in the chat.
Okay, enemy 229. Well, I might have. If that was a mistake and you actually were in class every single time, I might have been thinking about somebody else because I've got to keep track of 200 seniors. And if my recollection was off, okay, yeah, I see it. Then I apologize, but so here you do. You're providing only answers on some of this, which is, I told everybody since the beginning, you got to present, all the process and everything here too. So how are you getting these answers? Because I state all the answers. I gave everybody all the answers. So in order for me to give you a full credit on this one, I need to see all your work to generate all these answers.
Okay, am I able to go back and show the work for it and then resubmit
Sure.
it?
Yeah.
Okay. And then there was, hold on. It was the 2 through 9 quiz 5, and I got a 10 out of 100 on it.
Okay, so quiz 5. Oh, it's because it hasn't been graded yet.
Oh, it
Okay.
hasn't? Okay.
So you turned it in late, and I grade those quizzes that we're grading the day of, and I just didn't get back to it. So what I'll do is I'll grade that today, and then give you some feedback, and then modify the grade.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, no problem, Audrey. My
Bye.
pleasure.
Bye.
Okay, you too. See ya. Tyler, what's up, buddy?
Mr. Ainsworth, I've been trying to hit leave for like 2 minutes. Can you kick me out? I've been stuck in here ever since.
Sorry, buddy. Next time, just speak up.
Okay.
Yeah, because sometimes there's someone, I don't know if it was you the other time, and there was another student that couldn't leave. Was it you last time or someone else?
I don't remember.
Okay. Yeah, next time just talk to me, buddy. You're used to that.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Have a good day, bud.